Hey people, it's Ed, Midsole Bud here. Got a bit of a discussion starter for you today surrounding max cushioned running shoes. Seems to be a trend at the moment that all of the brands are increasing the midsole stack of all their models. Even previously lower stack models are now sort of upwards towards 40mm. Not a week goes by without another running shoe appearing on the scene with a max stack. Things like the New Balance Balos and their SC Trainer 3. The Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 2 is huge. That negates the rules of a 40mm stack. So where does it all end? Do these shoes really benefit runners, or are brands just cashing in on this current trend? Because everybody else is doing it, so why shouldn't we? Let's explore the outer rim, the world where stack height doesn't really matter for us mortals, and figure out if it can have a positive effect on our training and racing. Thanks for tuning in, people. It is always appreciated. If you're yet to do so, please hit that subscribe button. It really does help us out. I think there's about 40% of people are subscribed and 60% of the viewers aren't, so please do that. It really helps me to get to 1 million subscribers, and I will do it one day. Also, give this video a thumbs up, like, and drop us a comment to help fight that YouTube algorithm to get us out to more viewers. Dankeschön. So max stacks, every single model seems to be upwards towards 40mm these days. Even some of the stuff that was deemed low stack before is now heading upwards. There's a couple of millimeters added every year. One of my favourite shoes ever, the Primex, really makes going through door frames in quaint English sort of houses quite difficult. It was dynamite in training though. That compressive light strike pro material and the energy rods was a superb combination, just a really exciting shoe to run in. But I have to say, I would never consider that shoe for a race. But why, Ed? The additional weight here takes that one up to around about 300 grams for me. That's a more weighty shoe, I suppose. I mean, it's not something like the Invincible, which is about 340, 350 for me. But over longer distances, you do start to feel the heft a little bit more, and I think it sort of counteracts the cushioned and sort of propulsive feel that you get in the shoe. Especially when you consider that you've got wonderfully stacked, sort of cushioned, squashy midsoles like the Metaspeed Sky Paris, for example, and that's coming in towards 200 grams, so you almost got 100 gram difference. It does make a considerable difference over time. The Primex to me will always be a tool to use in my training and that sort of shoe rotation. A fun, exciting option if I want to run a longer session and know that my legs are going to be feeling good the next day and the day after that, then the Primex was always a shoe to go for. Even if you want to sprinkle a little bit of pace into one of those longer runs as well, that was ideal for that type of shoe. A shoe for faster interval sessions and reps, it was not. Nor is it a shoe that I would ever run on uneven camber. You know, it was definitely a road and decent pavement offering only. And when you consider the Primex 2 added some extra weight and also some cash as well, that was about £250 for me. It's a serious price there and not one to be taken lightly. But probably one of the most durable shoes, certainly. So bit hit or miss really with that one. I did enjoy the shoe, but certainly not a race option. Another very tall stack in the ASICS SUPERBLAST 2, 40mm in stack for the sample. I think it was something like 43mm in the stack for the sample size of that. I think I had closer to 47 or something. Without the extra plates or rods or anything, does the foam make a difference? Well, again, we got additional weight here that makes the shoe a training only option for me. Perhaps aside from a marathon attempt, I could see people using this for a marathon, half and 10k and stuff. It's just too hefty and too much of a shoe, I think. More a steady cruiser, just lacks any sort of significant pop to it. But it is cushioned and forgiving, but just not as exhilarating or fun as the Primex. The upper and overall stability, though, are much improved over the Adidas shoe, and it's more of a traditional type underfoot feel here, though with zero road feel. Again, more of a trainer and a racer, though with a race shoe price. I think at 200 quid, it's one of those shoes that perhaps if you're training for a half or full marathon, then could really come in handy again as like a tool. It's going to take the pounding of those longer miles and provide you the ultimate impact protection. So perhaps we're looking at max stack being max protection. Though then we got things like the Skyward X from Hoka. That was a beast of a shoe. Over 50mm with a carbon plate as well. Very soft foam, but a hefty option. Albeit a little bit cheaper than something like the Primex or the Superblast 2. No real propulsion propulsion from that one or engaging feel. It was a nice enough shoe at steady paces, but I've got lots of things like that in the arsenal already, and they do just as good a job at leaving the feet and legs feeling refreshed after longer sessions. Even in Saucony's Hurricane 24, I had about 42 mil of stack there, lots of soft cushion there, and it was a very forgiving ride, but then again one of the heaviest in terms of materials. A plush upper, loads of rubber on the outsole, and the same could be said about the Triumph 22. That shoe fits into a very similar kind of category. Very plush and compressive, yet lacking any real pop due to the weight of the model. And the Invincible 3 I tried out last year. That was way over 300 grams. Very cushioned, but not a race option, another tool. So seeing a bit of a pattern here amongst all of those shoes. Even like the Pegasus 41 is getting up there towards 40 now. Does make you wonder where it's going to end. So most of these shoes fall into two different categories for me. Plush cushions to help you get out there on the most taxing of days when you just can't motivate yourself, perhaps when the legs are tired and worn down. Or perhaps something that features even more of a foam stack, which is edging towards a race option for everyday folks who don't really care about that 40 mil limit. Now, I have to say, most of these max cushion models, if I'm just using them for daily training, they just feel like complete overkill to me. In some models, you put more effort and energy into the run, but it just seems to get absorbed by these max cushion beasts. Doesn't really feel like they are returning a lot of energy. I guess you can look at it as energy loss. They just feel like you're putting a lot in and not getting masses out. The efficiency of your run isn't perhaps really being improved aside from that increased impact absorption. As a lighter framed fellow, I seem to err on the side of using these super training shoes in a slightly different way. I'm always on the lookout for that shoe that's quite versatile, that might be able to be used for sort of daily training and some faster stuff too, and they're the ones that I always seem to err towards. They present a more versatile option in terms of pace. Some of the bigger max stacked options like the Skyward X or Hurricane 24 seem to dictate the use really. On foot they almost urge you to slow down and run at like a recovery or easy pace. On the other hand, models like the Primex or the Superblast 2 offer a bit more versatility and they're giving a little bit more back to the runner. They've got a lower weight and a slightly more propulsive nature about them. Though of course, they're the ones that are always on the more expensive side of things. So when we think max cushion, it's not quite as simple as it sounds. For example, the ALPHAFLY 3 is now a very low weight shoe but offering incredible cushion. Just seems to work for me across all sorts of different paces as well. Super light, super compressive, and it likes turning up the pace too, so that kind of offers something that lots of other shoes just simply don't have. But durability wise, it's a bit like a classic car. It's amazing to ride in, but it needs some careful care and attention all the time to keep it maintained. So I think these max cushion super trainers can be brilliant. Not every runner's going to need like a Primex in their lineup either, especially when they cost as much or sometimes more than a top end race shoe. But we haven't seen the end of these max cushion monsters yet. They're getting even bigger. Every brand's got one in their lineup, or at least they've got one penciled in for the near future. The SC Trainer V3 from New Balance is on the horizon. I've got that incoming in fact, so keep an eye out for that. The Puma Mag Max Nitro. Again, I can't say too much about that shoe as of yet, but I will have a review as soon as I'm able. And you've got this bizarre leaked shoe from Nike with dual air units in the forefoot and the heel that are exposed on both sides of the shoe. We do seem to have a stack there that's well over 43 millimeters. Absolutely bonkers, that one. But what's more strange is why it's taken Nike this long to actually make that shoe. They've got all the tech there. It's kind of like an Invincible run plus adding in air. Just seems like a no-brainer to me. They could have done that 4 years ago. Why has it taken so long? What is your favourite max cushioned model in your rotation? Or can you not stand these midsole monstrosities? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Musical interlude for you. You might be able to hunt this one down. It's from a band called the Von Bondies. It's called A Lack of Communication. This was released back in 2001. Now it seems like about 5 minutes ago or something, but no, it was a bit longer than that. Garage rock at its finest. It sounds a little bit like the White Stripes, I suppose, but with a full band arrangement. Did see these guys live and they were absolutely fantastic. Really awesome noise. Everybody was kind of taken back a little bit by this wild American band producing these sort of crazy sounds. Certainly a garage rock sort of sound there. Really love the track. It came from Japan, and the lead track, Lack of Communication, Going Down, is equally as good as well. You can almost hear the sound of the room as they were recording it. I think this one was probably done pretty much, you know, in one take. Definitely a hint of the Cramps in there too. Some really cool reverby, surfy guitar sounds. Go and check them out. I'd probably never heard of them before, but you'll really enjoy it. Lack of Communication by the Von Bondies. Thanks for tuning in, people. Hope you enjoyed today's discussion piece. Taking a couple of days off running at the moment. I hurt my hip. Not entirely sure how, actually, but I think it's just one of those getting old things, you know. So just taking it easy today. Starting to feel a bit better now. And I got some really cool shoes to test out. So it's tempting to go today, but I think I'll give it one more day just to make sure I'm okay. Hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like. Drop us a comment as well to help with the YouTube algorithm. My name's Eddbud, and I'll be seeing you